Hi there. Okay, I admit it. Sometimes I'm a critic. I say that with a certain amount of disdain. Too often I hear people criticize and give opinions on something that they're really not that knowledgeable of, or that they really express an opinion that's much stronger than is required given the topic at hand. For instance, photography. I have been guilty of sometimes criticizing, sometimes saying things that maybe I should have thought out a little more before I opened my mouth. The fact is that regardless of your skill level, regardless of your success rate, regardless of anything, you need to be very well aware that there are many people who have not yet achieved the level that you are, and many, many more who have achieved far more. Being a critic basically tries to somehow elevate yourself to above those people, which I think is totally unreasonable. The fact is, I have a fair amount of technical knowledge. Now, technical knowledge does not make you a great photographer. It makes you a great guy to talk to if you're thinking about buying a camera. I can give all sorts of recommendations on that topic for the simple reason that I know a lot about that topic. Am I an expert? No. Have I tried all these cameras? Of course not. But I've been reading between the lines. I don't just go off on the first statement I hear some reviewer make on a camera. Instead, I look it over and I see what's good and what's bad. Recently, of course, camera reviews have been rampant because of the huge number of new models that have been introduced that in some cases are quite, I dare not say the word revolutionary, but in a sense they kind of are. The fact that we have Canon and Nikon, for instance, finally coming out with a serious attempt at mirrorless cameras. Both of them have mirrorless cameras. Canon, I must say, did a much better job in the past with the M series, the EOS M, than Nikon did with the Nikon 1, because I think Nikon really sort of underestimated the tastes of a lot of photographers who were going into mirrorless cameras. Nikon saw them as a tiny little camera to take everywhere with you. So were their cameras good? Of course they were. But they really didn't make a dent in the serious photography market. I think the only ones that I know of were a couple of people that bought them as travel cameras and a couple of people who bought them as underwater cameras because they had bought an underwater housing for them, which was, because of the camera, quite compact. So it made it a great underwater camera. So we have the big two coming out with something decidedly different from what they've been making before. You have companies like Fujifilm bringing out a camera that is actually now real competition for the more video-centric cameras like the Panasonics and the Sonys. And then, of course, you have Panasonic also coming up with a full-frame camera, leaving everybody scratching their heads and wondering what's going to happen to Micro Four Thirds. Nothing, I hope, because that is my #1 system right now. But, not to be a critic, all cameras right now are pretty darn good. There are cameras that may not be suitable for every job, but they're all capable of taking very good pictures, and most of them can take rather decent video as well. If you are a video producer, you may want something a little more. Although, I have seen people who are still using things like Nikon D5200s and Canon Rebels to shoot serious short films that in many cases end up in short film festivals and basically are very high quality pieces. Now you might say, well, why are they using those cameras? Because to keep the camera budget down, it gives you a chance to work in other things that are equally important to a good film, such as sound and lighting. Okay, So I started out talking about being a critic. Well, I'm going to try and back off from that. I give a heartfelt apology to anybody who I have criticized, and hopefully in future I can, how should I put it, control my my mouth, my brain, the parts of me that criticize. Other than that, the only takeaway from this particular video is that, well, on the gear standpoint, I am further trying to rationalize my gear. I've decided to pack away and hopefully sell a lot of my lesser used Pentax gear, including my K10, which is kind of superfluous since I do have a K3. And I have added a second Olympus OMD EM1 body so that my Micro Four Thirds kit is now very functional for video and stills, and I can have two cameras, one with a long lens, one with a wide lens, if I'm shooting something important. So, hopefully, things will iron themselves out over time. Meanwhile, I'm sorry for being so long between videos. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, by all means give it a like. If you would like to see more of my videos, please subscribe. And of course, if you wish anyone else to see this video, by all means share it. In the not too distant future, I will be putting a short video out showing some of my photography from my time in Tuktoyaktuk, which is north of the Arctic Circle, the northernmost community actually on the mainland of Canada. Right now it is the northernmost point on the Trans-Canada Trail, since it has been connected by an all-season road to the rest of the country only in the last couple of years. So, I hope you enjoy those images. They will be coming up in a future video, and bye for now.